My name is Amberlynn. I'm 22 years old. Landing didn't happen.
Trolling is fucking fun, okay? Like, I am obsessed with being the troll queen. So miserable bitches, if the shoe fits, right?
Grave saying that majority of you are fucking idiots.
Hi guys, it's Amai the Kid, and today I really wanted to talk about Amberlynn Reid. So I have a lot of, and throughout this video you're gonna kind of see a lot of it, but I have a lot of interesting and just overall personal opinions when it comes down to Amberlynn. But before I even get into this video, I just want to say that I am going to give a bit of a trigger warning. So I'm going to be talking about a few triggering topics, such as eating disorders, animal abuse, transphobia, and also manipulation. These are just opinions that are formed by the information and the videos and the things that I have seen, and so therefore my opinions are perceived from those videos. So before I get into the lies and manipulation and even why Amberlynn Reid's audience began to turn on her, I want to start from the beginning in November of 2013 when Amberlynn first uploaded her first video called Nervous plus Awkward plus Weight Loss Vlog. So as you can see from the beginning of this video and the few videos that I had put, you can see that Amberlynn was very soft-spoken in the beginning. You can see that she had a more shy personality, and she wasn't as loud spoken as she is now. And you can also see that she had this kind of soft, nice personality that I think a lot of people really liked before she turned to mukbangs and things like that. And during this time we also got a lot of iconic Amberlynn Reid moments where she would go around and dance at some point, exercise in her videos, or where she would film her walking around Kentucky with her girlfriend Crystal at the time, or even throughout those eras of just early Amberlynn where she would walk around with Crystal, or she was just a lot more active than the person and then what we're seeing now, which is very interesting because, and I'm also just going to say this just because when it came down to Amberlynn in the beginning, she had a lot more relatability, and she seemed like she really honestly just wanted to really lose weight. And that's just the thing about Amberlynn from the beginning. She had this she had this more of genuineness to her than she does a lot now. I mean, now, honestly, anything that comes out of Amberlynn's mouth, you genuinely cannot believe. And now looking back, it was as if Amberlynn was just a completely different person. When you see her from the beginning to now, the change is drastic. It's not even drastic because of the weight gain, which is very interesting because towards the beginning of this video, the main video that I think I played first was a weight loss channel and how she ultimately became a weight gain channel. I also want to point out though that in the beginning, her relationship with her audience was a lot different than what it is now. I mean, you can even see that through the fact that a lot of these reaction channels, which I kind of want to talk about just a little bit, through even just doing videos and seeing other videos on other YouTubers, I have never seen one YouTuber have this many reaction channels. I genuinely even though I have been in the Amberverse for quite some time now, I also just want to say that reaction channels just reacting to her content on an almost day-to-day basis is insane to me. I have never seen one YouTube channel, one singular person have over 10 reaction channels, even just dedicated just to them. It's honestly kind of interesting. And another thing that's very interesting is the fact that a lot of reaction channels, a lot of big ones such as Zachary Michael, Michael B. Petty, I think Young Dumb Honey Bun, but I'm not too sure. A lot of them have talked before about how they were either fans of hers and they wanted to see her get better and they wanted to see her change and they wanted to give her any kind of advice on what had helped them or new things that she should try out. But slowly throughout the years, as we have seen Amberlynn change drastically into almost a completely different person, I think so did a lot of these reaction channels. Emotions towards her also changed. It was almost like a flip had switched throughout these years. And it's honestly quite sad because she had this loving, growing community and that like wanted to help her, that wanted to give her advice, and yet she still continued down this road. And that's another one of my things that I really kind of want to talk about and or just like address, is that in my opinion, as much as Amberlynn wants to blame her weight gain or just things going bad, which we'll talk about later, as much as she wants to blame her audience, as much as she wants to sit here and put almost every single thing that has gone wrong in her life onto her audience, I don't really think it would have mattered. And that's, although Amberlynn does try to blame almost anyone in almost anything. I mean, she blamed having heartburn on water
to have, and it worked for me. I have been getting mega heartburn for months now. Every single time I drink water, it started getting worse and worse and worse. Like, it's happened to me for years, but in the last like 5 months or so, it's been bad. So I started doing a lot of research. Turns out that for me, because I did test it and I really want to document this, that water with lower pH balances is what is causing me to have heartburn.
So yeah, as you can see, Amberlynn's she will reach very, very far in order to make it so that there's no blame on her, which is very interesting. But as much as she tries to fight and as much as she tries to essentially go out kicking and screaming, saying that this community is what's really brought her to her downfall, just isn't the truth. Amberlynn has had a loving, caring community before, and she took advantage of that, and she can make more money off of monetizing her addiction to food and also monetizing the fact that people wanted to see her get better, and even the drama between her and the other people, or even just characters, as many people would say, in her life. I think eventually she began to realize that that could be monetized, that can become a source of income for her. Now, Amberlynn, throughout these years, she has had a job before, but I think that she realized that she can make a lot of money from entertaining this idea or entertaining this cycle of monetizing her addiction to food. So through researching for this video, I had found something that is quite interesting but scary, and that's the Amberlynn Reid cycle. So as the cycle reads, usually at the beginning of the year, Amberlynn tries to rebrand/redeem herself. And we're even seeing this now, and I think throughout this video, I'm going to be showing videos of her literally going through this cycle this year, which is so, it's just, the only word I can really put it is as interesting. This is where we also see her trying to journal a lot. We also see her trying to get into new affirmations. We also see her trying to reattempt failed weight loss plans or just failed weight loss programs such as Noom, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig.
Try Weight Watchers. The wonderful people of the interwebs. Don't mind my grotesque hair, like got off of work. Don't care. Welcome. So as you guys know, I've kind of gotten out of hand when it comes to the whole weight loss, weight gain bit, because I'm as heavy as ever and I physically see that. I physically feel it, and it don't feel nice when you're on your feet all day at work trying to care for people, because I do work with people who need to live at an assisted facility, and being on your feet all day while you're morbidly obese at the age of 24 just isn't the way to go. I easily can count calories. I easily can just eat less, or I can just stick with the good old Weight Watchers. Hello everybody, and welcome to week 1 of my Weight Watchers weigh-in. I need to stop. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful I'm not gaining hella weight. Like, that's a plus. But I need to be losing weight. I need to start talking about this more, beating it into my head, putting it out in the universe. So, what I did was, round of applause for Amberlynn. I joined Weight Watchers. I just joined Weight Watchers right now. Totally spur of the moment. I have a friend who's currently doing it. She's motivating me to get back on the bandwagon. You know who you are if you're watching me right now. I've done Weight Watchers several times before. It works. You lose weight. If I stick through it, I'm gonna lose weight. I've done Weight Watchers quite a few times, but Weight Watchers has changed the formula yet again. I'm doing a completely different program. I have re-signed up for Weight Watchers. Okay, I hear you guys on the other side of your computer screen, laptop screen, cell phone screen, TV screen. However you're watching me, you're rolling your eyes, you're moaning and groaning, you're very upset. But then there are a few people out there. I see you. Oh, and you over there. Oh, you're smoking a cigarette. I see you. You guys are like, okay, she's still trying. She's trying to find what is right for her. Yes, that is what I'm doing. What I like about Weight Watchers is that it teaches you to choose healthier foods over unhealthy foods. Yes, I can have ice cream. Yes, I can have pizza. But those things are higher in points because they want you to choose the things that are healthier. Chicken, brown rice, corn. I mean, corn isn't that healthy, but I mean, it's better than pizza, I guess. And Weight Watchers does work. It always has worked. I just always stop doing it because I fail. I'm a failure. Curvy calories. This is going to be 100 episodes of weight loss. And the reason why I am doing this is because I am too comfortable in the weight loss where I am now. It seems like I am stalling and I'm just balancing back and forth between the same like 4 pounds.
All of like essentially the mainstream popular ones, which I really don't understand why a person with not only one binge eating disorder but two who very obviously isn't in the normal realm of weight. I genuinely think that those kinds of apps, those kinds of websites, those kinds of weight loss plans only work for people who are essentially at a maybe a little bit above the average of weight, if you want me to be completely honest. Like, I'm talking maybe 200, maybe 180, trying to lose like 30 pounds. But Amberlynn is way over 500 pounds, attempting to lose over 100 pounds using apps like these that have never worked and almost will never work. And after these programs or diets, this is where we get way more of like lazy content. You kind of see her really taking care of herself, and you can honestly see like a decline in what I would guess her mental health, which we're even seeing that now, which is very interesting. We also see her just completely stop mentioning her weight loss goals completely, and it's very obvious that she isn't doing well. So in this next part, we also get indignation. This is where we get a lot of mukbangs, and she's been regularly posting them almost every other week because slowly Amberlynn's channel is dying, which, if I have to be completely honest, I'm kind of glad for, and you'll see why throughout the end of this video. So this is where we also see her addressing a lot of haters / commenters, and it's in just overall blaming her audience for her weight gain and essentially putting out there that the only reason why things went wrong is because her audience told her to do one thing while her head told her to do another, which again is just so wrong. And it's also very interesting to see that she consistently blames and puts the blame out to outside forces. She consistently puts it out there that it's not Amberlynn's fault. In fact, it's something higher. It's something above her. It's her audience's fault. It's the water's fault. It's almost everyone else's fault, when in reality, it's your fault. It's genuinely her fault for almost anything failing. And I genuinely believe that this is what sets up her last stage of the cycle, which is manipulation. If there's almost a few words that are tied to Amberlynn Reid's name, it's genuinely either manipulation or narcissism. I find that very interesting because it seems that manipulation is a big aspect of Amberlynn's channel, consistently trying to not only manipulate her partners, but also trying to manipulate her audience into feeling bad for her and genuinely gaining sympathy for her, all for them to watch her videos and click on her videos so that she can make more money, is honestly just one big sick game, if you want me to be completely honest. So in this next part, I'm going to be talking about Amberlynn's delusion. When it comes to how self-deluded Amberlynn is, it's honestly very, very scary. And it also ties into a lot of her hypocrisy as well. But first, I really want to get into the delusion. When it comes to Amberlynn, there's no doubt that she is delusional, not only about her weight, but also about a few things as well. She had addressed it in the videos in the past. Not even addressed it, but we have seen slight glimpses of her delusion in the past, where she's talked about how sometimes she loves to pretend like she's 200 pounds, or the fact that she sometimes just doesn't really look at her body, and then she realizes how big she is staring into a mirror. It's genuinely so scary seeing someone almost purposefully trying to not look at themselves, trying to ignore the scary and terrifying thing that they have done to their own body. Whether Amberlynn really wants to say this or not, or whatever she wants to blame this on, whether it be her binge eating disorder, which I do understand can be a big aspect in why she's gained a lot of weight, but it's also the fact that, Amber, you are over 200 pounds, you are almost 600 pounds, and yet you still sit here and talk about how you're able to drive, about how one of your biggest accomplishments was walking down not even half a flight of stairs. And I'm not trying to shame her for not being able to walk down stairs or anything like that, but I am just saying that is a scary reality to live in. And the fact that she continues to self-delude herself out of getting help for these things is just insane to me, especially in one of her recent videos where she's talked about rehab. And I'm just going to play the video here.
Question: have you considered going to rehab center for eating disorders to help with the weight loss? Tammy from 1,000 Pound Sisters has lost a lot of weight from going to rehab. And this is like no tea, no shade, but she is a little bit bigger than me. The more bigger you are, the faster you can lose weight. Could I lose 100 pounds in 30 days? Probably, if I starve myself. Like, yeah, by the looks of it, rehab is working very well for her. But using Tammy as an example, from what I've seen through the episodes, once she left rehab, she gained all the weight back. So it's like all the hard work that she went through the first time she went to rehab kind of just like went away. And using that example, that's very much exactly what would happen. I was like, is rehab right for me? I'm sure I'll do great while in rehab. I'm sure I'll lose tons of weight and I'll be following plans, going to the meetings, doing everything that they want me to do. But none of that matters unless I do it all outside of rehab. And I know myself, literally being restricted like that inside of a rehab, the minute I come back home, binge city is about to happen. So no, it's not gonna help me.
But her overall opinions on rehab genuinely scares me. The fact that she doesn't see her addiction to food as bad as an addiction to drugs is what genuinely kind of annoys me, although one is more heavily stigmatized than the other. I mean, I recently learned this in my psychology class about how essentially we stigmatize one addiction over another. We sometimes see an addiction as to drugs or an addiction to alcohol as being worse than an addictions to caffeine, or even something like food as something that is not as bad, when in reality, as those 4 things that I had mentioned are just as bad as each other. They all will and can end up in death. And it's just sad that she not only refuses help for both her mental health and her physical health is insane to me. And yet she consistently preaches getting help for your physical and mental health, which is so just interesting to me. Like, if there was a way for me to honestly get help for Amber, I genuinely think that I would just play back some of her videos that she says into the camera. It's almost like she's telling us to get better, and she's telling us to do better and really take care of ourselves, and yet she doesn't do the same for herself. And it's just a scary reality. So another part I really want to talk about is genuinely just Amber's hypocrisy. The way she tries to tell her audience to do better and get better, which is interesting. And especially when it comes down to Amberlynn and her audience, there's a lot of delusion there. And it's just the fact that even recently in the past of Amber's live stream era, where she talks about how she genuinely believes that she does not think that she created her own audience.
Go in one ear and it's not even gonna go out the other one, because it's just gonna hit you in the ear like this. Because you guys are delusional.
When it comes down to being a YouTuber, your audience is a reflection of you. Your audience is literally just what you are as a person and who you attract. And we all know that Amberlynn is a pretty negative person. Any kind of criticism she cannot handle, any kind of comments that don't fit her narrative she can't handle. She consistently goes out of her way to spite and be rude to just about anybody who isn't worshiping the ground that she walks on. When it comes down to her and her audience, she genuinely believes that this is just a group of people, or just a group of angry, mad, upset people who just willingly one day just spun the bottle and decided which fat YouTuber they were going to latch themselves onto. From that day on, they just latched onto her channel and became this evil menace that just completely took over her channel, when that isn't true. Your audience is essentially who you attract and what you attract. And we all know that Amberlynn is not the greatest person. We know that she's not really the nicest person. And my honest thing when it comes down to Amberlynn and how she just doesn't want to take any kind of accountability for the fact that she has manifested and created this incredibly negative audience is, what did you really expect, Amber? I mean, the constant years of you gaslighting, manipulating, consistently telling your audience to go away, which now they finally are, and no one is seemingly to be interested in her life anymore, which I'm really, really happy about. I genuinely feel like, and I think that a commenter had mentioned this one time in someone else's comment section, I think that the only time Amberlynn will ever begin to get better is if she loses her YouTube channel, which it may sound grim and dark for someone of her weight with her conditions and things like that to lose her only source of income. But the thing is that Amberlynn doesn't treat this as if it's her only source of income. She treats this as if she's entitled to it. And that's the thing that I think that really, really stops people from genuinely liking her, or even just what really stopped her audience from genuinely liking her, is the fact that she felt entitled to having an audience. She felt entitled to $10,000 a month coming in. She felt entitled to consistently taking and wasting people's time, money, and energy, and for her own personal gain, especially during the live stream era, where she had consistently promised to come on live and she had charged her audience, which, granted, I'm gonna be real, I think that entire era and even the times before that where she had promised certain things were just one big scam. I think that Amberlynn is a scammer. Just no matter how many ways you try to slice and dice it, it was a scam, especially during the live stream era, but that's for another day to talk about. Entire scam situation is the fact that it's only just one of many awful things that Amberlynn has done to her YouTube channel, and even just not only her channel but her brand name and her audience. And the sad part about it is the fact that, and the crazy part about this entire thing is the fact that she genuinely thinks that people are supposed to like her after doing all those things. The consistent lies, the feeder content, the belittling of your audience, the content baiting, the consistently trying to dish out small little details for her audience to speculate on. I mean, sure, for a few years now, as I talked about throughout the cycle, maybe that worked, but now people are slowly starting to leave. Actually, scratch that, people are fastly leaving. She's losing subscribers, her views have gone down drastically, and it seems as though no one's really interested in this content anymore. It's just, and I see why, because genuinely there are bigger fish in the sea now when it comes to Chantel and all the many other problematic YouTubers on YouTube now. I think the reason why Amberlynn's channel is just the way it is mainly from Amberlynn's not only lack of accountability, but her lack to accept the consequences of her actions. I don't think that there has been, or at least there's just been in my entire time of even watching Amberlynn Reid reaction channels or things like that, there has only been one time where I've seen her genuinely apologize. I don't think not once have I ever seen her apologize for lying to her audience, for manipulating her audience, for gaslighting her audience, for scamming her audience, for just doing all these terrible and awful things. And one thing about Amber is the fact that she really likes to talk about the effects of what she has done, but never really the cause. She consistently likes to talk about how many people, or even just recently about how many people want to make fun of her mental illnesses and want to make fun of her weight and her size and how she can't really walk and how there's certain things she does, but she never really wants to talk about the cause of those issues. She talks about how recently she's talked about how people mock her mental illnesses through using the cycle, but who created the cycle? It was you, Amber. You are the main cause of every single issue you have had. You are essentially your own worst enemy, and the fact that she can't see that is just one of her many issues. And so in this part, I really want to talk about Amberlynn Reid and her relationships. As I said before, with Amberlynn's cycle and her dieting, or even just her manipulation, that cycle also rolls over into her relationships as well. Going all the way back to the Crystal era, the same cycle of lying about the breakup.
And on April 1st, everything kind of blew up into smoke. We decided to break up. On January 13th, ironically enough, it was actually Friday the 13th, Destiny broke up with me.
We had broke up. It happened Sunday. And it was initiated by me, but
saying that the breakup is just a break of their actual friendship and that they are going to be best friends forever and always stay in contact. The fact that she makes her ex-partner sleep with her just so that she can, just because of her anxiety, which I feel is just another way of Amberlynn trying to have control. When it comes to just almost everything in Amberlynn's life, she wants to have absolute control over, whether that be a person, her audience, just about anything. I feel like she genuinely just likes having that sense of being able to control everything, which, I mean, in certain aspects, who doesn't? But when it goes to Amber, I feel like it's just honestly the extreme. As I said before, I don't really mean to completely judge her and kind of put her in a corner where it makes it seem as if I don't completely understand where Amberlynn may be coming from when it comes down to her choices from time to time. But the thing is that with Amberlynn, there's this constant reminder that choices are what have gotten her here. Choices are what have put her in the spot that she is now, where her audience is consistently leaving, where people in her life is leaving her. And that's another part of Amber that I really don't quite understand, is that how can you see that your audience is leaving, people in your life no longer want to associate with you anymore once they actually get to know you, and yet not want to change, not want to really take the perspective of other people and kind of put it onto yourself, as many other people have consistently told you about how they view you and how you are viewed to the public, and you see that all the time, and yet you don't want to change and you don't want to grow. So I feel like her entire channel, if you want to be completely honest, is just one big what not to do with your channel. And with that, I'm just going to leave it here and say that these are all just my opinions. These are not facts, and that a lot of my opinions have been formed by the videos that she has decided to put out in her content. So with that, I just really want to say that just don't make the same choices that Amberlynn has made. Amberlynn has decided to gaslight, manipulate her way into like fame and into the spotlight, but we all know it's just as fast as something goes up, it also goes down. And we're seeing that now, where she's starting to, where her channel was starting to just slowly disappear, where more and more people are starting to slowly not really care anymore, which I'm kind of glad for. In like a weird kind of messed up way, I'm actually really glad that she's starting to slowly really realize that she needs help. And we're actually seeing this now. I honestly think that the people leaving her channel is really beneficiary to her and overall to her mental health as well. Like, we see her now that people were starting to leave, that she's slowly getting into like help. She's actually going out there and seeking eating disorder specialists and seeking people who actually really know what they're talking about and essentially really know like how to really help her. But the thing is that when it comes down to this kind of thing, is that you need cooperation. You need to both put in work in order to get the result. And we've seen many times that Amberlynn, if she could, as many people have often put it, if there was a way for Amberlynn to take a pill that made her lose 500 pounds in like one day, she would take it. She would, and that's just the honest truth, because that doesn't require any work. It doesn't require any kind of actual blood, sweat, and tears to be put into it. And it's a simple, easy fix, which I feel like Amberlynn wants. But the thing about weight loss is that it's not a simple, easy fix. It's a long process that sadly Amberlynn doesn't really want to start for herself. So I know that was a bit of a rant, but it's just my feelings towards Amberlynn and how I think and how I feel. As I said in the beginning of this video, that is just how I think and how I feel, and not facts, but just how I think. And so I'm going to end this video, and I just really want to say to make sure you eat your meals, make sure you drink some water, make sure you like go outside, walk your dog, or even if you don't even have a dog, just go outside and really enjoy. Just go outside and really enjoy the sun, because right now where I live, the sun's out and it feels amazing. Bye.